And now we will continue with Francesco Romano. He says about himself, I'm a software engineer passionate about robotics, IoT, and AI. I developed my first app for Android 2.3, and from then I started to work with several companies involved in IoT and mobile development. I'm currently working as developer advocate for Huawei, and my goal is to make everyone capable of including the potential of artificial intelligence into their mobile projects. Meanwhile, I lead the GDG Consenza community, and I attend a lot of tech events in Europe as organizer or speaker. I strongly believe in sharing knowledge, and I'm addicted to hackathons and code challenges. Few things inspire me as much as meeting new people and pushing myself over my limits. Let's welcome Francesco Romano with a round of applause.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me. Thanks, Valentina, for your great job. And also thanks, Kartik, because in the previous speech, you explained a lot of contents that will help for my speech. Okay. I'm developer advocate at Huawei. What that means, that I'm the interface between third-party developers and Huawei. So if you want to build something using our technologies, you can talk with me. And moreover, I will try to be the communication channel between the companies and the other ones. Well, make your app smarter. What does that mean? It's about bringing artificial intelligence, like machine learning and deep learning capabilities, to your Android application. Why you need artificial intelligence to run on device? Well, most of the actual current algorithms are running on the cloud because usually smartphones don't have enough power to run a huge model. But sometimes you don't want your data to leave your device. You want everything to happen on the edge. Why? Because in this way it's real time. You don't have to wait to send your data to some clouds and giving the result back. You have these capabilities anytime, also if you don't have a network connection. It's very stable for the same reason, privacy, as I said, and you don't have to pay a server when your algorithm is running because everything is in your smartphone. What's the solution we provide for this? It's called High AI. What this is bringing a better user experience. The format is a little bit striped, but you understand. With these capabilities, our camera app has included computer vision to understand what is going on. So giving to the user the best set in order to improve the beautiness of the picture. There is a Prisma app. When they were able to include our capabilities in their apps, they were able to run it 3 times faster. So Prisma is an app where you take your picture and you can add the styles to this picture. And just a reference, it's like 3 times faster than another smartphone. So in the same time, you can try 3 different styles. And moreover, we provide the capabilities to scene detection, so understanding what is inside the picture and choose the better style for that picture. The third one is another successful case is Microsoft Translator. They were able to bring the offline translation running locally. Let's see what we can provide, actually. There is no sound. Yeah, sound is not important. So the segmentation is happening in real time on the smartphone. It doesn't look extremely important, but if you understand that we are analyzing more than 4,000 frames per minute, you can imagine that if you want to run something like this on the CPU, your smartphone actually is going to die. These are the use case for bringing these capabilities in your app. So your app is smarter and improve the user experience. Actually, okay, and so there are more use cases for this, but how do we achieve this performance? We added a specific chipset for tensor processing. CPU is good for logic control and general purpose computing. If you have a computer science background, is what we learn at the university. So it's good to do basic mathematical operation, logic operation, jump if zero, you know. The GPU is pretty good if you want to go for parallel computing to image processing. In NPU, you have low-level capabilities for convolution, pooling, ReLU, and all that operators that you need for deep learning. So it's a dedicated AI instruction set, and you're able to run this the same algorithm 50 times faster than on the CPU with a much less power consumption. Okay, now we see that we have the capabilities, and yeah, but still it's not easy to bring your idea to the market. How many of you are Android developers? Few. How many of you are involved in deep learning or machine learning? Okay. So, if you come from a plain Android background, and you want to bring some of these capabilities, you will see that it's not easy. You have to start learning calculus, algebra, really math, really difficult stuff. Then it takes time. You have to find the right data, to collect it, to polish, clean it, and train and turn your model. And then once you have something that is you want to update it, and it's not easy again. It's not so easy to upgrade your model and also to effectively collect much more data. We provide a full ecosystem in order to resolve these issues. So it's 3-level stack. Higher foundation is the chipset capabilities. So as I said, you have access to these low-level operators dedicated for artificial intelligence. Then we have AI engine. Engine is API level capabilities. What that means that you don't need to know all the underground math and stuff. You have some API to call directly from Java code. So you are inside your app for Android Studio, and you can just call image segmentation or face recognition, face detection without any previous knowledge. And then we have the cloud capabilities if you have needed to run some models on the cloud to interact with it. Everything it's included in our integrated development environment, HiAI. It comes as a plugin for Android Studio, and it provides all the development tools that you need in order to create an application. Okay. How does the flow look? There are two main channels. You can join them with a unique account. It's Huawei developer and Huawei dev ecosystem. Once you download your IDE and install it, it could be you don't have any AI model. You just want some high-level capabilities. So you go for AI engine. Or you have your own model, and you want this model to run locally on the NPU and to be optimized. So you go for AI foundation tool. Once you bring everything together, you can choose how to test it. So you can have a remote device. I will show later how to use our remote open lab. You can have, of course, local device. And there are also two development board with this specific chipset. Once you have your application, you tried it, it's working. You want to be sure that you cover all the possible scenarios. And we provide also the cloud test. So we have actually more than 20 different devices. And you can connect remotely, run it for debug, or provide your suite of tests that will run automatically on all our devices. And if you want, at the end, you can publish your application to our store, or to the Google one. It's the same. Okay, what are the benefits of using this? There is the model store. If you are looking for something interesting, there are a lot of different models, mostly based on computer vision, but we are also going to open capabilities for natural language processing and automatic speech recognition. It's, as I said, an Android Studio plugin. It runs on macOS and Windows. It's familiar for all the Android developers, since it's the official development environment provided by Google. And you have a great documentation that is interactive and integrated in the IDE. I will show how it looks like. So you have a page where you can actually drag and drop the code base or the models or everything you need. There are a lot of APIs as sample code, and we support all the major deep learning frameworks like TensorFlow, Caffe2, Paddle, more than 140 operators. And as I said, we have two open labs when you can connect to real devices and try it out. Okay, let's start by foundation. As I said, you can get a lot of performance improvement and power efficiency. It's secure in the meaning that your model is protected. So the intellectual properties of the developers is protected because when you ship your model, it is encrypted. We support 8-bit and 1-bit quantization. That is a strategy in order to reduce the computing bandwidth. Basically for you that are inside deep learning, you reduce the quantization of the weight for some layers, and you are able to reduce the computing bandwidth without a big loss in accuracy. So if you have your model, you can use our tools to create an offline model that will be optimized for our neural processor unit. And of course, you can also have your online models. It will be transparent for the developers which model do you want to use. talking about engine is the one that resolve the issues we're talking about because it's easy. You don't need advanced knowledge. You just need to recall some API. It's fast. Like in 30 minutes, you are able to run some of the most famous computer vision algorithms. And it's easy again in the sense that you have automatic code generation. So as soon as you choose an API, you have automatically filled the import, the Gradle dependencies, the API reference, and everything. These are some of the API we provide. We actually have more than 30 different capabilities. One is face recognition. You can see in some built-in application, Huawei smartphone, like the gallery, you are able to see all the picture where you are inside, for example. And face unlock, any ideas you want to implement with face recognition. Beautification, we are also able to detect some attributes like the gender, the age, if the person is smiling, and so on. We provide image segmentation, as you saw in the previous video. So from the picture, you're able to understand the scenario. If you want to apply a specific filter, or if you want to do something interactive. We have also the portrait segmentation and the scene detection. With the scene detection, you are able to understand if you are taking a picture of the sea, of fireworks, of a landscape, in order to improve it. We have also document recognition and correction. So with a simple API, you are able to recognize where a document is placed in the picture and to correct the angle and also upsampling the image to have a better resolution. This is how it looks like. So it's pretty integrated in the Android Studio. Just open the SDK and DevTools tab, and you have all the API listed. For example, this is the one for document detection. It explains input and return, and you have the code that you can just drag and drop in your activity and use it. Okay, this is an example of the code. You have to initialize the vision base at the beginning. It's you have the callback when the service is connected and disconnected, and then it's pretty easy to use the API is just a reference. Here I'm calling it in a Kotlin coroutine because you have to call this API in a separated thread, or at least not in the main thread. This is for face detection. So basically you instantiate a face detector object. You put your bitmap as a parameter, and then it's just calling detect. And from detect, you got a JSON object that you can convert with a list of face. This list of face is like a list of rectangles. So it recognizes all the face in the picture, and it gives as a result the coordinates of the faces. But once you develop this, of course, you have to test it. It could be that you don't have a Huawei smartphone to test it, or it could be that you want to try it out in different smartphone before to ship it. So what we can provide, Open Labs. We have two. One is based in Düsseldorf, so the latency is pretty good from Cluj. It should be not bad. And the other one in Beijing. You have just to set up an account on deveco.rmd.huawei.com, and it's free. So you can use all of our flagship devices. It's pretty easy to use because with the Android Studio plugin, it looks like just your Android emulator. It's the same experience. And we also provide a different test suite, compatibility test. So automatically, it will try to install the app, do some traversal, uninstall it, and at the end, you will have a report with crash issues, and of course, the screenshot when the crash happened. And stability, monkey tests, that this means that you're actually randomly clicking on the UI or doing some specific operation. And you're able to measure performance, CPU, and memory, traffic, response time. But for performance, there are also other specific tests. For example, this helps to detect memory leak. That it's something that in Android happens a lot of time, and it's not so easy to detect. And yes, rendering test, you can measure the frame rate and the trade, the input, output, all that you need. Also, since it's not an emulator but a real device, you can have information about the power consumption, the heating, and you can access capabilities like GPS, Wi-Fi search, all the capabilities that you need. This is how it looks like. Well, actually, it should look better. Now the image is a little bit, yeah, fat. So you have the list of devices. These devices is actually running in Düsseldorf, but it looks like it's running on your laptop. And you can just go in debug, try it out, and do everything that you need. We are improving the list of devices to add all the flagship smartphones. And okay, let me show some successful cases of companies that using our capabilities build something cool. This is one of my favorites one, Story Sign. It is meant for deaf children that usually deaf children struggle to start to read. So this is an app to read a story for children and display the signed version of the text. It's not Christmas anymore, but I really like to show you this 1 minute video.
Huawei, make it possible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And thanks to our chipset capabilities, they were able to improve the user experience. Another successful is Sketch AR. It's an app for education to learn how to draw. And also using our capabilities, they were able to improve the drawing experience and improve the process of detection by over 40%. Let's see also this one, how it works. It's 30 seconds. try this one, I have to say, is pretty nice because once you detect if you want to go for paper or on the wall, you can move your smartphone as much as you want. They are always able to track it. You are always able to draw it. Okay, but that's what we have right now. But we are still improving the platform. We are providing new APIs. The idea is to move from this atomic API when we have only one function to a scenario-based API. So we can, you don't need anymore to call several different APIs for this kind of scenario. You have only in a document conversion. So it detects where the document is from a picture. It corrects the angle. It upsample it. We can upsample a document by 9 times resolution larger. Also for the text. We can provide the optical character recognition and major recognition. So you will have something like this. From some picture of the slides, you will have editable PowerPoint. Another cool things that is going to be released is the model creator. Actually, if you want to create your own model to detect something specific, you don't need too many data because most part of the layers are to detect if this is a car or this is a bird. But if you want to detect this is a specific species of bird, you only need to train the last layer of the network. So you need a few data. And in minutes, it could be trained and validated. And also for the sides of the API cap, it will be much, much more smaller. Okay. It's not working always. Okay. What's next? We are bringing these capabilities also to different devices, because currently they are only on the flagship devices, starting from the Mate 10. But we are going to add these capabilities also to wearable and other kind of devices, also a low-level smartphone. And if you want to join the alliance, you have some contact, the developer Huawei, Diveco at Huawei, and also you can contact me them directly. We already have on board more than 500,000 of developers, a lot of partners, and of course we have a great market share between the users. I hope I inspired you to build something cool, because right now deep learning, AI is not only for PhD. Come on. So if you have ideas, if you want to bring your solution to the mobile, or if you want to build something new, just contact us. And thank you. Here you have the code for the documentation, if you want to catch up. And here for the Open Lab, where you can try our smartphones, and you also can find technical support and everything that you need. Question?
Hi, so thank you for the presentation. Nice to see the Huawei pushing the progress in that way. So the first question is about the outcomes of this SDK, of the effort of the developers who did this. In the very first slides, you've shown the segmentation with a girl where address was segmented. So as far as I understand, this video should be segmented on the phone. The questions, is it segmented online or it's post-processed? And what are requirements for the resolution? So modern phones, they are able to record the video in 4K. Are you able to segment 4Ks in a phone?
Come here. I will show you.
I mean, but is it 4K or it is cropped, or I mean?
It is. So it's real time. I need Valentina. Come here. So, yeah, it's happening in real time all on the smartphone. I'm in the airplane mode, so no online.
Is it a foreground and background segmentation?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's foreground segmentation, not a dress segmentation.
Yeah, it's between.
It was
yeah.
unclear, thank you.
Okay.
I will continue if you... So, I forget the one question I was going to ask. That's why one small joke. You told that there is, in your testing SDK, there is functionality to find memory leaks. And you told us that in Android there are always memory leaks. I'm not an Android developer, but I guess that it's not because of the Android, but because of the Java.
Yes.
Are you planning to ship this solution to GVM?
Well, I mean, the memory detection is memory leak detection is not on the SDK. The SDK is to access AI capabilities. The memory leak detection is on the remote lab. So you upload your APK, you make it run, monkey test, wherever. If there are memory leak, it will show you. So it's something happening in our test suite on the cloud. It's not an SDK that we are providing for memory leak. And then, yeah, probably Java is the problem, but also Android itself, how it works. Maybe you are not in development, but there are some best practice that you have to follow. Otherwise, it's super easy to get memory leaks. So, yes. For the moment, we are not providing any SDK for the end user to detect this. Well, I will be around the whole night if you want to catch up later.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I recall it. So you told us if you have an object classification neural network, for example, distinguishing different sorts of animals, so there is no need to train whole the network from the scratch in order to change it to bird part segment classification. I know that fine-tuning after ImageNet works well, but I'm not sure. Have you tried it to fine-tune the object classification algorithms in order to distinguish pieces of one of its previous objects using only last layer gradients? I'm not sure, can we fine-tune a neural network to recognize pieces of one object while before it was recognizing whole objects?
I was not talking about pieces. I saw bird species, so different birds. If you want to understand if it is a kitchen or a, I don't know, yeah, a raven or whatever. Okay. Okay, thanks. Okay. Thank you. Oh, there is another question? No. Okay. Do we have time, right?
First of all, Francesco, it was a great presentation with quality content. I have only a very small, short question. At some point you mentioned TensorFlow, and I was thinking if in the future, on the long run, you will have other tools like Torch or PyTorch.
In the future,
if the list will be expanded.
In the future, who knows? I mean, right now, if you have your own model, I mean, TensorFlow is the most popular framework for deep learning. There are already a lot of stuff already built. So a use case very common is that a company has already a solution with TensorFlow, but they won't be able to ship it to devices due to the performance leak. So if they already have their own model, we are only going to convert it and optimize it in order to run to the neural processing unit. For the future, I mean, we have to understand if it is needed. If it is a value for developers, could be. Otherwise, no need. Okay.
Thank you very much, Francesco.
Thank you.